Hello guys, in this tutorial, for simplicity reasons, we're gonna start with a clean sheet of paper. So nothing special here, you know these lines up till now. We just need the modules and we are creating general blank application with geometry 500 by 500 pixels. Nothing special here, you know that, okay. So the first thing is we need to create button that will call another window, guys. So we are not calling function here like ping Google or run notepad, we are calling another window, okay. So let's create that button. Let's call it a button primary, let's say. And of course this is a button, and we are going to hit this top window, obviously, because this primary button is exactly at the first level of application. So top window, and let's give it a name here. Text will be, let me think, well, on that sub level that we are going to create, we will have networking options, let's say, to ping Google. So what we are going to get at the end of the day is something like this. We are going to click on something and again on something, and then we're gonna have a new window in this tutorial, but simplified like example. So what I was saying, like at net window, and of course main command will be, well, net window, because we need it to spawn that sub level. And this is not enough, guys, we need to peg this primary button. So peg, but where? Well, side will be left, that's kinda default, and we're gonna put it into here, upper left corner. So don't worry about these errors here, not critical right now. Right, so anchor will be northwest. Okay, nothing is happening, I don't see anything because I don't have net window method. Okay, so let me check this one more time and let me create that method, and when we create it, then we will see button. Okay, right, def and name will be net window, obviously, and without any kind of parameters here. So here we're gonna call net win, let's say this will be name for that sub level. So how to create it generally? Well, we are using top level here. So this is something I invented, also this, and also name for a button. But top level is a part of Python, it's a part of Tkinter, right? So I must type it exactly like I have it here. But will that work? Okay, we have a button, and when I click on new window, I'm gonna spawn this thing, but it is smart idea to use tracking inside of sub level. How? Well, I will use net window down there, and also main loop here. Now application will work without that, but let's just, you know, check what's happening. And also I'm going to set geometry, why not? So the geometry will be like a 300 by 300, just to see that difference. Now F5, and there you go, this is first like a level. When I click here on net window, I have spawned new window with appropriate pixels for width and height. Okay, so this will work. What else I can do here? Right, so let's create a button in this sub level that will help us to ping Google, let's say. Right, so let's call it button for Google, let's say. And to save a little bit of time, I'm gonna copy paste these options and I will change appropriate things. Now here's the thing, Here we are targeting top window, okay, but we are on first level, but here we are on sub level, so we need to target this net window that is spawned. That means that this button will be on that sub level, and name for that is net window. Okay, and what will be the name? Well, let's just say ping Google. And of course, now we need to create appropriate method, which will be ping Google, let's say. Okay, so let me see what else I can do here. What I must do is packing of that button with a peg, and side will be also left, and Anatsuhor will also be northwest. Okay, so let me run this stuff. Net window, and I have interface, but I don't have a button here. Why? Because I don't have appropriate method. Okay, so let's create it down there. Def, what the name will be? Ping Google, and now I'm just using module from above, OS module, because in here we have a system method that will help us to issue commands like ping Google or something like that, or run calculator. Okay, and I think, guys, that I'm done here. Let me just test this with F5. Okay, first level net window, second level, and if I click on ping Google, there you go, guys, we have solution. And apparently we are done. When we are done, of course the console will terminate, because we are working with console through OS module. There are other ways and probably smarter ways, but this is good for illustration. So what else we can do here is, let's create another button on a primary level that will be used to run Notepad, just to practice a bit. So let's call it a primary button for Notepad. This is just a name, guys, just a name, nothing special. And this thing will be packed on a primary level, first level, and let's call it obviously a run Notepad. Yeah, sure, we can do that. And command will be go to dedicated run Notepad window, or let's call it a note window. Note window or Notepad. It's a logical, kind of understandable from the day one. Okay, so that means that now we need additional sub level. So let's create it here. Def and Notepad window will be that sub level. Notepad window. Okay, and what will be name for that level? Well, let me think. Note window, let's say. And to save a little bit of time, I'm gonna just copy paste couple of times here things. Okay, and the next thing will be that right here, and I need to change this to note window. And also same stuff with main loop. Sorry, main loop right here. And now I need a dedicated button to run Notepad, and let's call it button for note. Button for note, and the name for it will be just Notepad, and command will be run Notepad. And that means we need to create it. Where? Well, outside these methods dedicated for sublevel spawning. Let's call it a dev run notepad. And of course os.system just notepad. Okay, let me check. Here I'm creating some kind of problems for myself because this is a note window and down there I'm using note win. So I will, well, let me type that window. And what else? Also here I need to change appropriate things. So sometimes copy pasting is confusing. And what else? All right, so this button is in note window sub level. So note in the window, and I think that I'm fine now. Okay, so the first window will yield us first sub level, and that is cool. And second window will yield us sub level, but why I do have this like a not window is not defined. Where I'm using that thing? Oh, right here. So one character can destroy your program pretty much. Well, hopefully I'm not sending anything to space. Anyone? Alright, here we are, guys. So I know that this is a kind of confusing, but this is not that easy thing to do because, guys, we're talking about complicated graphical interfaces. So yeah, we need to invest a little bit of time into to understand this stuff. So if you are still confused, then forget about two buttons that will spawn two sub-levels. Operate just with one button, operate with one sub-level, and operate with one method in that sub-level. And well, I think that if you invest like 10 or 15 minutes into practicing, then you will over time grasp this stuff. Nothing special here, you just need to type a lot. And yeah, Tkinter is low level, but it provides you a lot of opportunities to mess components of graphical interfaces in so many ways. And it's free, you know, it's free and it's kind of cool. It is good base for everything else. Right, so stick with the simple stuff, and then when you're fine with that, when you're comfortable, then just proceed with the multiple buttons. And of course, guys, this is just one script. You can just export all methods for sub-levels and all usable methods in dedicated Python modules, your own modules, and then you can just call it and use it when you need. But this is just practicing, and yep. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you next tutorial.